GameStop stock. This is the one that launched what I call squeeze mania among retail back in 2021. It's the first thing that got me really interested and curious about the stock market because it was something I could relate to. And I could also relate to the sort of hero of that story, Keith Roaring Kitty, aka DFV Gill. And of course, who could forget how AMC kind of followed suit with its squeeze back in the day and with the so-called apes. Now, what do stocks like these have in common with one of my holdings, which is Medical Properties Trust? Well, the businesses themselves, not so much. Other than all having run-ups over the last few days, all three have been at various points the targets of short sellers and short attacks, with Medical Properties Trust especially being under attack over the last couple of years, with some very damaging reports that their own management contends are actually defamatory, and that particular battle is being fought in court. While the similarities are amusing to ponder, I think it's the differences that actually make the third stock on that list, MPW, a lot more interesting and potentially compelling. So I noticed at a certain point in time that this stock was trading at a slight discount to its book value, which is a little bit abnormal for medical REITs. I started getting involved around the $10 range, believing the stock likely worth around $14. More shares were purchased along the way at various prices, and I've basically averaged down for most of the time that has passed since then. As you can see today, after the most recent run-up, we are still at over a 50% discount from book value. In some cases, they are realizing sales on assets for higher than the asset is listed for on the balance sheet, so above book value. And in some cases, they're buying down debt for cheaper than what it's listed for on the balance sheet, or better than book value. Last week, it was revealed that their largest tenant, Steward Healthcare, is in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This tenant represents almost 20% of their real estate portfolio, and the market actually didn't respond with much of a price movement at all on that news. A big share drop was actually expected when this was announced. This implies that it was already priced in to a certain extent, as Steward's financial issues have been known for quite some time. It's also worth noting that Steward has been marketing certain assets for sale since January, so it's likely that Medical Properties Trust has been preparing for this eventuality at least since that time. There's a lot of paperwork to read through regarding the bankruptcy, and there's also recordings you can listen to of the actual proceedings. On the screen, you have who the priority is for different payouts with regards to Steward's assets being liquidated. DIP claims is in reference to debtor in possession financing. Medical Properties Trust has provided $75 million of such financing to Steward. There is a potential for them to offer more to the tune of an additional $225 million. The DIP financing provided by MPW comes with strings attached. So they are requiring Steward to push along with the bidding process on the sale of their assets. In the court hearing, the chief restructuring officer alluded to there being literally billions of dollars worth of assets in play here, with the main issue against Steward having been the liquidity of those assets. If we take that at face value, Medical Properties Trust stands to benefit greatly from those asset sales in the coming summer months. Also, in the earnings call, management had indicated they expect almost all or all Steward hospitals to be under new operational management by the end of summer. Now, Yale New Haven is set to buy some hospitals from another MPW tenant called Prospect. Now, Prospect, like Steward, is on cash basis accounting due to some recent financial struggles. It came to light again during the earnings release that they had paid their rent through March, but had not yet paid April or May, and that March's rent was late. While Prospect is nowhere near the size of Steward, they do represent something like 5 or 6% of MPT's portfolio. And the fact that they're paying late should be closely watched. However, it does, I think, bode pretty well that management seemed largely unconcerned, as there was some kind of large payment expected to hit for Prospect pretty soon that would help their cash flow situation. My personal wish list for the earnings call would have been for some more color on perhaps what MPT might see from the sale of certain assets of Steward, particularly the sale of stewardship to Optum Health, a subsidiary of United Healthcare. However, it seems normal for MPT management not to comment on ongoing negotiations and bids, as before the deal closes, really, anything and everything can in fact go wrong, as the deal for Prospect to transfer some Connecticut hospitals to the Yale New Haven Health Network being stalled in the 11th hour has shown us. Also, on the earnings call, MPT kind of indicated they'd be playing a little bit more of a game of will they, won't they, with the dividend. I know, because every time I do a new video and mention an earnings release or anything and the next dividend has not been announced yet, the number one question I get is always about the dividend. So they basically revealed that it would be discussed on the 30th during a meeting, and that's about it. And I think that the dividend, as well as the massive amount of what I considered to be attractive assets on their balance sheet, sort of set MPW apart from some of these other heavily shorted stocks. Even in the event that a really, really giant squeeze doesn't send this thing straight into the moon, I think there's still a decent amount of headroom in this thing just from natural positive catalysts that we can probably expect during these asset sales. I encourage you to comment below with your opinion, and always make sure that you like the video for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel for more such content, and also make sure that you join my Discord, link in the description. Join me every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Cashflow Kings live show, link in the description there as well. You could consider becoming a channel member if you like to support my endeavors. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Mr. Macho Mog, link in the description there as well. Take it easy, everyone.